Today, I'm going to discuss the impact of the massive campaign funds spent by Donald Trump. As of September 29th, the Donald Trump campaign has spent close to $750 million in campaign finances throughout the United States, with close to 3/5 of that accounting for just 3 states alone. These 3 states are Arizona, Pennsylvania, and Florida, as seen by this map, which clearly shows the vast majority of Trump's finances going towards these 3 swing states that have a combined total of 60 electoral votes. While Biden has also been spending a great deal of money in these crucial battleground states, Trump is currently in possession of the upper hand, as he seems to be spending close to twice as much in each of these 3 states, while Biden has decided to centralize his efforts to just a few key swing states, but not enough to eclipse Trump's spending in the states of Arizona, Pennsylvania, and Florida, which will be the deciding states at selection, with the 2020 tipping point state most likely being one of these 3, with Pennsylvania being the most likely to do so. But how much will this massive spending on Trump's part influence his chance of victory in these swing states? Most likely by a lot. I have already filled out the safe, lean, likely, and tilt states from both the Democratic and Republican side of the spectrum, giving Biden a total of 258 electoral votes compared to Trump's 220, leaving only the states of Arizona, Pennsylvania, and Florida as toss-ups. And while I may not be entirely accurate with the margin of victory within each state, these states each have more than a 70% chance of voting for the party I've assigned them to, with Iowa and North Carolina being the only red exceptions to this, having only a 60% chance of voting Republican, and Nevada and Wisconsin being the only blue exceptions out of 65% chance of voting Democratic. Without the massive expenditure Trump is spending in these 3 states, they will almost likely vote Democratic, giving Biden a total of 318 electoral votes. But due to the Trump campaign working vigorously to keep these states in his column, they have some reached a deadlock where the chance of them voting Democratic or Republican is as likely as guessing the correct outcome of a coin toss. Even though the presidential race is neck and neck in these 3 states, it is still possible to guess what party and to what degree these 3 states will vote come November 3rd. The first state that I will cover is the state of Arizona. Trump's massive spending in Arizona has seen some success with his chances of victory in the Copper State, with his chances of victory increasing from a meager 32% to a commendable 45% when the Trump campaign amped up spending 5-fold in late August and early September. Along with this, the poll taken by the Pew Research Center in Arizona found that throughout the state, 43% of those who chose to answer noted that they will be voting Republican in the 2020 election. Despite this, I will be putting the state of Arizona into the tilt Democratic column. While Trump may be gaining momentum in the Grand Canyon state, that popularity increase has plateaued as of September 14th and is not looking to increase any further, which will give the state 11 electoral votes to Joe Biden, as he has consistently remained ahead of Trump in Arizona and continues to hold that position. While Arizona may vote for Trump in the general election, it is unlikely to happen, as the state is no longer considered to be a total Republican or even a toss-up state, but is now considered by most major polling outlets to be a lean Democratic state. But if Trump were to drastically increase spending in Arizona by more than 40%, I could see the state voting for him, but this will not happen in a realistic scenario, as the state does not offer enough electoral votes compared to other states such as Pennsylvania or Michigan. Moving past Arizona, the state of Florida will be one of, if not the most fought over state this election, with both Trump and Biden pouring in hundreds of millions of dollars in order to win over the Sunshine State's 29 electoral votes, with Trump spending the bulk of this at over $150 million compared to Biden's $130 million. Spending in the state is expected to increase colossally, with some estimates putting the total spent by the conclusion of the election between both Trump and Biden at close to $750 million. In the end, though, I believe that the state of Arizona will be won by Donald Trump in the tilt Republican column. This is mainly for the reason that the state of Florida is starting to become a Republican stronghold. At the moment, Florida is a swing state with an almost equal chance of voting either Democrat or Republican every election cycle, and having provided its votes twice to George Bush and Barack Obama, as well as once to Donald Trump. However, in recent years, the state of Florida has become a slightly reliable Republican state, as the state voted a Republican into the Senate and the governor's mansion in 2018, a year in which Democrats swept the nation, taking back the House and was in striking distance of the Senate. In 2020, Republicans will have a much harder time winning over Floridian voters due to the ongoing coronavirus pandemic, which has ravaged through the state of Florida. But Donald Trump still enjoys it, an approval rating of 48% in Florida, which Trump still has plenty of time to improve upon, as the upcoming presidential debates are expected to shake up his ratings throughout the nation. The final state that I will be covering is the Mid-Atlantic swing state of Pennsylvania, which I will be giving to Joe Biden by a tilt margin. While Trump is spending obscene amounts of money in the Keystone State, this is one of the few states where Democrats are outspending Republicans, with Joe Biden having already spent a total of $200 million compared to Trump's $170 million. This is not to say that Trump will continue to lag behind Biden in terms of spending, but in order to surpass Biden in terms of winning over Pennsylvanian voters, Trump will have a much more difficult time. Biden already enjoys a higher polling average than Trump in the state, which is already a negative blow to Trump, but this higher polling average combined by higher Democratic spending is almost a knockout to Trump in Pennsylvania, unless he were to amp up spending by more than $60 million, which might grant him the ability to win the state by less than a percent, just like in 2016. While Pennsylvania is becoming a less most reliable Democratic state, the state still leans Democratic in almost all affairs and will likely continue to do so until the mid-2020s. If Biden were to win the crucial battleground state of Pennsylvania, he will have rebuilt the so-called blue wall that Hillary Clinton was over-reliant on 2016 that prompted her to lose to Donald Trump. If this blue wall is rebuilt, it will become increasingly difficult for Republicans to win the presidency, as it connotates that if one were to add up all the safe, lean, likely, until Democratic states, it would surpass the necessary 270 electoral votes needed for the White House. In conclusion, even though Donald Trump is spending a great deal of money in 3 of the most important battleground states, he will still come up short to Joe Biden, with Trump only being able to secure the state of Florida. While it is still technically possible for Trump to win the Electoral College, he will need to improve spending dramatically in the states that I've assigned Democratic in this video, as well as other toss-up states such as Michigan and Pennsylvania. I would like to thank you for watching, make sure to like and subscribe.